Alright YouTube, so we are back of course to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we have some pretty big information. It's kind of a follow-up to a video we did recently where we talked about the possibility of save transfer and data transfer not working when it comes to the PS5. And kind of the conversation in that video was that it seems like a majority of the PS4 games weren't going to work, like you couldn't transfer your saves to the PS5. Some would work, some wouldn't. But it seemed like a majority of them weren't going to work. And here we are not even that much longer after making that video, and it seems like the vast majority of PS4 games will transfer. And you're going to be able to do it through backwards compatibility and transferring your saves either if you bought the game digitally or using like a USB device or maybe like an external hard drive or something, because the PS4 library, like 99% of it is going to be backwards compatible for the PS5. And Remake is obviously on that list. Right here's the very short list of PS4 games that are not going to be backwards compatible on PS5. It's subject to change, so there could be some new stuff added. But the majority of these, if not all of them, I don't think I've ever even heard of. Like the only one that caught my attention was Hitman, but it's Hitman Go Definitive Edition, so I don't know what the hell that is. And clearly Remake's not on that list, and we knew it was going to be a backwards compatible game anyways. I think it was like Yasuke Matsuda or somebody in an interview a while back, or maybe during a financial report, talked about how they made Remake with the PS5 in mind. So we knew it was going to be backwards compatible and possibly going to get its own PS5 release at some point in time. Now what we're going to talk about today is something I came across on Reddit. Of course, I'm always on Reddit, from like SWX Rice. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but he shared like an official post from Sony themselves. It's all about backwards compatibility between the PS4 and the PS5, but of course we're not here to read the entire thing. There's a very specific thing we're looking at. And it's this section right here, and I wanted to highlight the top part as well, because if you own a physical copy of Remake, you can use that PS4 disc within your PS5. You just install it like you normally would for a PS4, and you got to keep the disc in there when you play, of course. But the more important part was the bottom that says transfer digital games from a PS4 console to a PS5. You can transfer digital games and save data from a PS4 console to a PS5 console using Wi-Fi data transfer. You can access PS4 games on a PS5 console directly from a PS5 extended storage drive. Now in the article itself and the Reddit post, it doesn't exactly say when this tool is going to be available. I don't know if they're doing this at launch. It doesn't specify. Now, doing a quick Google search, I couldn't tell if backwards compatibility is going to be available at launch on the PS5, but I'm assuming it will be. And if it's going to be available at launch, then the save data transfer stuff should be available then too. And why any of this matters and why we're talking about this all in regards to Remake is, of course, people are wondering if their data is going to transfer between games. And with the possibility, I think it's a small possibility, but the possibility of Part 2 being a PS5 exclusive game, we're kind of writing off the data transfer stuff, right? If it's going to be an exclusive game to PS5, then your stuff was probably not going to carry over. But since you can put your PS4 save data on your PS5, that wouldn't even matter. And I like what they're doing with this gen with the PS5. Like if you already bought a game digitally for PS4, you can just boot up your PS5, search it in the store, download it for free. Or if you already own the disc, put it in your PS5 and you can still play it. Like you don't have to re-buy PS4 games for your PS5, which is kind of nice. And for a lot of those games that have that PS5 upgrade, you can usually do that for free as well. And assuming that Remake Part 1 is going to get that PS5 treatment at some point with like a definitive edition with upgraded graphics, we're all pretty sure that's going to happen, you should be able to upgrade to that for free as well, because it seems to be what they're doing with this gen. So maybe you sold your PS4 to get a PS5, but as long as you bought the game digitally, or maybe you own a physical copy of Remake, you should be able to upgrade for free. So you won't ever have to buy Remake Part 1 ever again, more than likely. That's only assuming that Square Enix is doing that. I'm not sure if it's like an across-the-board thing for the PS5 or if it's at the developer's discretion. And I wouldn't be surprised, we know Square Enix, I could see them making you re-buy the PS5 version. It's possible. But I think this is important information in general, not even just because of Remake and carrying your save data over from the PS4 to the PS5, and that possibly mattering when it comes to Part 2. Maybe our stuff will carry over between games. Who knows? But I think in general this is important because some people out there might be selling their PS4 to help fund their PS5 because maybe they think they don't need it anymore, and you kind of don't because almost the entire library is available for PS5 through backwards compatibility. But people might also be selling their PS4 collection of games, or some of them or something, because they think they're not going to be useful for the PS5, but they actually will be. And I think it's important for people to know to hold on to their physical PS4 games, because unless they're on that very, very short list we looked at, you're going to be able to play them on your PS5 as well. And of course, any PS4 games that you bought digitally, and again, assuming they're not on that very, very short list, you'll be able to re-download them for your PS5 as well. So this is fantastic information. But I think it's also important for people to know, in case maybe they don't have internet or maybe they have terrible internet, to hold on to their PS4s until they get a PS5, in case you got to transfer your saves via a USB device or something. But anyways, my dudes, that is pretty much the video. I'll have everything linked in the description below, of course, if you want to check up on it for yourself. But this was good information for the people that are hoping that Remake Part 1 stuff will carry over to Part 2. And the fact that you can put your PS4 save on the PS5, it kind of leads to that credibility a little bit. But all of that, of course, remains to be seen. Who knows if Square Enix will ever tell us anything before the second game ever even goddamn comes out. Anyways, dudes, that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys already want to see more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @dashingdavid. At my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.